Hello Stampers, it's Debbie with Stamp It with Debbie, and I would like to welcome you to day 4 of the 12 days of Christmas. I have another fun gift for you to create using paper and stamps, and today I'm going to be using the Holly Jolly Christmas stamp set from the holiday catalog. I haven't used it a lot, and I thought I would pull it out and make a fun treat with it. So let's get started and I'll show you what we're going to be making. Today we're going to be making this fun treat. And on the outside there's a little cup of cocoa, and if you open it up there's a little pocket and you can put a Ghirardelli square inside. You might be able to fit some other candies in there. York peppermint patties probably would fit in there, and when you're ready to give it, you just tuck that inside and you're ready to go. So let me show you how to create this. What you're going to need for this project is a piece of paper, and I am using Pretty Peacock, and this is cut at 2 3/4 by 7 3/8, which means you're going to get 4 of these out of 1 sheet of cardstock. You need another piece of Pretty Peacock for that inside piece that I showed you, the pocket, and this is going to be cut at 2 3/8 by 5 3/4. You need a piece of designer paper cut at 2 5/8 by 2 1/2. And then you're going to need a couple smaller pieces of cardstock. This is Early Espresso, and this is cut at 1 1/2 by 1 3/4. A piece of Whisper White cut at 1 1/4 by 1 1/2. And then just a couple scraps of espresso for the handle of the cup, and a piece of white for what's going to be a backing for the foam in the hot cocoa. So let's start with a little bit of scoring, and we're going to score the outside piece first. And we're going to score that at 3 on the long end, of course, the 7 3/8. We're going to score it at 3, 3 1/4, and 6 3/4. And that's it for that piece. While I have the scoreboard out, I'm also going to score that little insert, and that's going to be scored at 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 5, 5 1/4, and 5 1/2. Okay, and that's all the scoring. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish all of the score lines that we just did. So that our matchbook will go together very well. And we're also going to score this one. Now this one is a little bit different. One of the pieces is going to go down. I'll show you in just a moment. It's going to kind of create an M there. So one of the scores is going to go in and back up and down. And you'll see when we put it together what exactly it's going to look like. All right, so that piece is going to go there and here. And then, okay, so this is what it will look like on the end. 2 little M's inside. So again, I'm just trying to show you. You're going to fold that little score down and then back up. So you're going to have this little, I'm trying to see the best way to show you, this little bump here in the middle and on this end. And then you're going to end up with this little tab. That's what we're going to glue to. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of my liquid adhesive. And I'm going to put it right on that little edge there. And I'm going to bring this side over and I'm going to just close it up. I'm going to line it up. This outer edge is lined right up with that crease of the score line. So it's just creating a little pocket. Now we don't have to glue the bottom because we're actually going to put it inside of this piece. And this little tab right here at the bottom, this one here, is going to hold that in. And so what we want to do is take some of our tear and tape, and we're going to put it along the score line only. So we don't want it on this outer edge because we want to be able to tuck this. When this comes up, we need to be able to tuck this in just a little bit. Now this, we're going to just put right here, and this piece will hold it in. So we can remove our backing from the tear and tape and just hold this little insert piece, squeeze it together, and hold it right up next to that score line. And then you can bring that tab up. Now, the only part that's hooked is this, so we need to put some adhesive on the back of this to stick it to our actual matchbook. And so we're going to put adhesive there, tuck it back in where it belongs, and just hold it down. Okay, so that should be good for that. And I do need a little square piece, and I realized that I forgot that, so I'm going to run that through the Big Shot real quick. I need just a square of white cardstock to put on the inside to put my greeting. And I'm running that through with the stitched shapes. This is one of the squares, and this is what I have right here. So we have a little process here. Now, if you're familiar with the holiday catalog, I was not able to get the cup of cheer, and I really loved it. And so you might think this is the cup of cheer, but it's actually not. I'm going to show you how to create that. First of all, I'm going to take this piece of designer paper and I'm going to hook it right on the top with some adhesive just to get that piece done. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp on this piece here. You can see inside, "May the magic of Christmas reach you this year." So I will stamp that. And I'm going to stamp that in real red. Okay, and I'm going to just put my red ink aside for just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside of this piece here. And then we're going to come back to the outside. I'm going to show you how to create this. So again, I did not get the cup of cheer, but I really wanted to create a cup. So I took this little piece of espresso, and again, this one is cut at 1.5 by 1 3/4. I'm going to take my detailed trio punch, and I'm going to use this end here. There's 3 ways to punch, but I'm going to use this one for my corner rounder. And I'm going to round on the long end, and then I'm going to do the other end. So now just one part of the cup at the bottom is rounded. I'm also going to do that to this little piece of white, which again is cut at 1 1/4 by 1 1/2. It's a little snug to get it in there, but it does work. Just kind of push it in there, don't pinch your finger. So now I have that. Now I need to create the handle. So how I did that was I took 2 punches. I have a 1-inch punch, and I'm going to do that first right here in the middle, and I'm going to discard that piece that I just punched out. Now I'm going to take, I have a 1.5-inch punch, and I'm going to go right over the top of that. And that creates this little circle with the hole in the middle. So you can see when you put it on the back of the cup, no one can see the rest of the handle is over there. You could cut it in half if you wanted to make 2. Now I need to make one more thing out of the punch. What it's probably hard for you to see is there is a circle behind here, and this is the Snowfall Accent Puff Paint from the holiday catalog. And it looks like foaming over hot cocoa with lots of whipped topping on it. So I just created a circle. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a little adhesive on the back here. And I'm going to put my handle on. And then I'm going to turn it back over again. And some more adhesive. And I'm going to put my foam inside. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp this so that I can put my ink away. And I do want to test it because I was stamping a little bit crooked earlier, and I was trying to not do that on my finished product. So looks like I got it figured out. So that's the part that's going to go on the front of our mug. I'm going to put my inks away here, or my ink away. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tuck my candy inside of the little pocket here and tuck this in. And so that's going to be ready to go. And now I'm going to show you how to get the foaminess of the hot cocoa. You do need a heat tool, and normally I do not like to do a heat tool on film. It's very loud, but that's the only way that I can show you how cool the puff paint is and what it can do. So I am going to do it. Bear with me. It shouldn't take too long. So I'm just going to take the puff paint, and if you haven't used it before, it's very, very, very thin. I'm actually going to get a little piece of kind of ugly scrap paper, and it's really thin. So you want to kind of just put it on a little bit here and there, and then you're going to use your heat tool and heat it up, and it's going to puff up. Now, I'm not going to stop heating to tell you this, but you can reapply it. If you don't get enough puffiness, go ahead and add a couple more dots of the puff paint, and it will puff up even more. So I'm going to go ahead and start the heat tool. Bear with me for just a minute. It shouldn't take too long. Just got to get my heat tool warmed up. You definitely want to have something under your work area so that you're not spilling on your desk or your projects. Okay, so I have a little bit of puffiness. I'm going to add a little more. And I want you to see how much it's puffing up there? And then I'm just going to add a little bit more on the edges. Okay. Ooh, we're done with that. Okay, so now we have this really cute mug, and it looks like hot cocoa, and all that yummy whipped topping is coming out of the top. So I'm going to take my Love Santa and put that on the front of the piece that we just created. Santa left us a little hot cocoa. And now the last thing that I want to show you before I put this on is this straw here. Now I could have used a little piece of red paper or red and white paper and just stamped that out, but I actually have some of these paper straws, and I just took my bone folder and kind of flattened it out as flat as I could. And then I'm just going to cut a little piece off. And then I will need some dimensionals. Now I want to put this on here before I do the dimensionals, so I'm going to kind of just eyeball it where I need some adhesive for this. And just kind of tuck it out there. And then I'm going to put my dimensionals and I'll be ready to finish up my project. Well, that didn't work very well while my dimensionals stuck together. Just take the backing off and we'll be all set to go. Who wouldn't love to get this cute little gift with some hot cocoa puff paint on the top? And looks like mine didn't dry quite enough, but I'll dry it later. Didn't want to make you have to keep listening to that. But again, you can see that you can keep adding and get it really nice and fluffy. So I'm going to take that with the dimensionals on the back, stick it right in the middle here. And now it is all ready to go to give someone this holiday season. And again, if you don't have Ghirardelli squares, you could use some of the peppermint patties, or there's lots of other candies out there that might fit, that are flat. You could probably make your pocket just a little bit bigger if you needed to. And if you omit the pocket, you can put a little mini pack of M&Ms or Skittles inside of there too. So that's another idea for something that you could put in there. You could also put a little tea packet in here, or I don't know, leave me a comment and let me know what are you going to put inside of yours, or what would be a good idea to put inside of yours. Again, we're on day 4 of the 12 days of Christmas, and I hope you're enjoying all the tutorials that I'm providing for you. If you're following me on YouTube right now, if you would click the subscribe button below, I'd really appreciate it, so that you can always get all the videos and never miss any of the projects. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com/stampitwithdebbie. Again, I hope you enjoyed this project, and please leave me a comment below and let me know what other candy ideas we could put inside of these to make some good treat holders this holiday season. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again tomorrow.